Welcome back, my friends, to this Vitality Work video. There is a solution. And my name is Kyle Payne, and again, I founded this community on the sole purpose of helping people just like you, are willing to go to new lengths to solve their ego's thinking problem, which is clearly the case with you right now because you had to go to new lengths to get to watching this video right now in this moment, and you're watching a video on the solution to the ego's thinking problem, which means that you are in fact seeking a solution. So welcome and thank you for taking that action. So what is the solution then to the ego's thinking problem? Well, the solution really can be anything that when faced with fear, uncertainty, and doubt, it causes us to shift our mindset from a mindset that is there to serve our ego's purpose, which is self-preservation at any cost, to serving the purpose of a greater purpose to be of service to others, again, ahead of our own self-seeking and selfish need for self-preservation. So why is it that we need to have a shift in mindset when fear is present, right? Fear being that trigger. Well, because the fear is, in fact, a trigger, and it triggers our default reaction, which is for self-preservation, and it needs to be that way. We need to have self-preservation be triggered when there's fear, because if that fear would lead to our demise, we need to take a course of action that prevents that from happening, because any other alternative solution doesn't matter if we're not here to enjoy it, right? Makes sense. So it needs to be that way. So at the heart of the solution, though, is the choice that we have, a choice to serve some other power, greater purpose than our ego's purpose for us, which is self-preservation above all cost. And then to take action that puts the needs of others ahead of our own ego's need for self-preservation. And the result of this action is that shift. Once we take the action, we experience the shift. And the shift is really a shift from feeling and experiencing the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that we have before we make that choice and follow it with action, to feeling and experiencing peace, harmony, and vitality, from being of service to others and doing it for the sake of doing it because it's the right way to live our lives. So that's not a bad trade. That's a trade we should be making all the time, with the only exception being when it actually truly is a life and death situation. Then let the ego do what it's good at, which is finding a way to survive. So this is why, then going back to the action I asked you to take at the end of what is the ego's thinking problem, to leave a comment. This is why leaving the comment was in fact doing the acting out the solution. Because to do that, you had to be exposed to the idea of putting yourself out there. And who knows what could happen, right? Our mind can create numerous different scenarios, doomsday scenarios. If I put myself out there, people will attack me or undermine me, whatever, right? So there's fear, there's uncertainty, and there's doubt. And so naturally, our default reaction when we consider the possibility of doing this, or asked to do this, is to find a way to self-preserve, and the self-preservation is to not leave the comment. And maybe you notice consciously a part of you that wanted to resist leaving that comment. But yet, if you did leave the comment, and you can go back now and do it if you didn't, if you did leave the comment, you had to make a choice to do something despite the fact that it scared you a little bit. There's fear, uncertainty, or doubt associated with what will happen if you do this. You had to make a choice to do it anyway. And when you physically left the comment, you solidified your choice to do that through the action of literally leaving the comment. And the result, is I hope that you experienced, is as a result of being faced with this decision, you may have felt that fear, uncertainty, or doubt associated with actually doing it. But when you made the choice to do it anyway and you did it, the result was you should have felt a sense of peace, harmony, and vitality because you were of service to someone else, because you did it for someone else's benefit, to help them, to give them the encouragement that they might need to keep going down this path that you're already starting to go down. So if you did that, then great. And if not, there's always an opportunity to go back and do it again, and you're going to get a chance to do this again in this video. So there's one of the things I want to point out is that there's many variations on this solution, meaning that it can be anything. And we don't have the one answer. There is no one single answer that this is the end-all be-all answer. And in fact, when people say that, you should really be second guessing whether or not that's really the authentic, that answer has the authenticity in it. So I'm right off the bat will tell you that we don't have the only answer, because there's a lot of variations of this. But there is one that we have found, that I have found and have helped other people find, that we have found to be very effective. And so that is the solution that we coach people and guide people on in this community, not because it's the only solution, but because we've actually used it, it's worked for us, therefore we have an experience, strength, and hope that we can share as it relates to this solution. So that is what we share through this process, and essentially the solution that we share is a series of choices that we ultimately make that are followed by action that causes the shift from our ego's purpose of self-preservation to a greater purpose in life, which is to be of service to other people. So why should you be listening to me on this solution? Why should you feel like this is even something worth exploring? Well, first of all, just as a reminder, this solution that we practice is a solution that has literally helped millions of people. Millions of people. And not only has it helped millions of people, but it's helped millions of people in a wide variety of problems. Literally any problem you can possibly think of. Someone probably has used this solution to solve that problem and has been successful in doing that. Which also means any problem that you might be experiencing that has brought you to be here right now, someone has used this solution already to probably solve that problem directly or indirectly. And more to the point, because I can only speak from my own personal experience, and I'm only an authority on my experience, but I am an authority on my experience, and I can say that I have used this solution in numerous areas of my life, and it has worked for me. And I believe that if this process is followed the same way I followed it in a complete fashion, that you too can have the same results. So what does the solution entail, though? What is it exactly that we're going to start looking into? Well, it is, again, a series of spiritual principles that, when adopted, cause us to make new choices that we wouldn't have made previously, that require us then to take action to solidify that choice, because you really don't actually make a choice until you're willing to put your money where your mouth is with action. It's the action that ultimately solidifies that choice. And until you take action, you have yet to actually make that choice completely. You may have had a part of your mind make the choice, but you may at this point still have a part of your mind that says, yeah, but I'm really not going to do that. I'm going to bail out as soon as I can, right? So once we take that action completely, we have solidified that choice in that moment. So notice the importance of action, because without it, nothing happens. So know that throughout this solution, it will require you to not only make new choices, but to do the action in the way it was designed to be done in order to get the complete results that you're looking for. So how do we practice these principles? Well, it's very simple. We practice them in 3 key ways. One of those is I share with you daily insights into my ego's thinking problem that align with a spiritual principle and give you what action I personally took, and share with you a way in which you can simply and quickly take that exact action. So that's one of the ways that we practice these spiritual principles. Another way is we host a weekly conference call where I make myself available to you as the host, as well as sometimes a speaker or a guest speaker who share for about 20-30 minutes or so in total on their experience, strength, and hope as it relates to the spiritual principle that we're practicing in that month. And it leaves another half an hour or so available for you to share your experience, strength, and hope with another person to be of service to that newcomer, as well as to hear from other people who are working this process that are sharing their experience, strength, and hope. They're just like you, to give you the courage that you may need to do the work yourself. So that's the second way in which we help people practice these spiritual principles. And the last way, the third way, which is the most important way, in fact, if you only chose one thing to do, this would be the thing to do. Although I do encourage you to practice every way in which we make this available. But the third way is through a series of training videos on each of the spiritual principles, where we share in more detail through my personal experience what has happened to me that created the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and the choice I then made, followed by what action I took. And then the second part of the training video is literally walking you through step by step how you can make the same choice and then follow through with the same type of action to solidify the understanding of the spiritual principle. Because until you actually make the choice and do the action, the reality is that you won't fully understand the spiritual principle. And I say that because there are people out there, maybe you're one of these types of people that are very intellectual. Yet people say you're a very intelligent person. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things to be aware of is that if you try to figure out this solution and the spiritual principle before taking the action, which most of us want to be able to do, it will not work the way it's supposed to. Part of this process of why it's so effective is that we put aside our need to intellectualize it, our need to minimize the fear, uncertainty, and doubt associated with it, which is only going to prevent us from taking the action if we try to do that. We put that aside so we take the action anyway on faith, and as a result of taking the action, we have an experience that helps us understand the principle in a way that we never could have understood it through an intellectualized process. So that is the importance of these ways in which we practice these spiritual principles, and why you see in each one of these is a series of choices you make and then ultimately action you take to solidify the choice that you made. So that is really how we go about doing this. But before I unveil the spiritual principles that we practice in those series of training videos, let me first give you an inside look into really what I was like before I even found this solution. So you can see that I'm someone that probably has struggled with the very same things that you struggle with. I'm like you in ways that you may not have even known. That this is not just something that I'm like you, but I'm like everyone, and you're like everyone, where we struggle with some of the same problems. So I want to share with you in this next video that you're going to get what I was like before I found this solution. And that's really the start of a 3-part Vitality Works Boot Camp series. And in the next part, I'll share with you what happened, what actually happened to me that led me to a point where I said, enough is enough, and this has to stop. Meaning, I have to stop serving my ego's need for self-preservation. And I made the ultimate choice to, from that moment forward in everything I do, to make the shift from serving my ego's purpose to serving my greater purpose in life, which is really to be of service to people just like you and to help guide you through the process I took that led me to this result, so you can help other people, right? So I made the choice that enough was enough, this has to stop, and that led me to a choice to take a new path, which meant using the solution in every aspect of my life that I can whenever I'm faced with any kind of fear. And then the last part in this 3-part series is I'll share with you where I'm going as a result of having made that decision and the action that I've taken to follow through on that decision. And all of this will be told to you over the next 3 days and through my 3-part Vitality Works Boot Camp series. And after watching my 3-part Vitality Works Boot Camp series, if you decide, and it's your choice, but if you decide you want the peace, harmony, and vitality that we have found, and you are willing to adopt these spiritual principles, which is the action that you'll have to take that I know for this path to work for you, so adopt these spiritual principles so you can make the choices that you need to make and do the action that's needed to take and to solidify those choices. If you're willing to do that, then stay tuned, because not only will you get the chance to do so, but I will make you a one-time offer to receive, where you can receive my direct help in carrying this message to those who are still suffering as part of the action that you can take to fulfill this solution and make it work for you. So if you're willing to go to new lengths and go through this 3-part Vitality Works Bootcamp series, in that 3rd part, I will make you an offer where I will help you in a way that very few people are willing to help other people to serve a greater purpose. And the experience that you had when you faced, and before you go on to that next video, I encourage you to share your thoughts on the experience that you had when you were faced with the choice to leave the comment on the What is the Ego's Thinking Problem video. Especially, what fear, small or big, did you experience when you're faced with the choice to leave the comment or to not leave the comment? And ultimately to share why you chose to do it anyway. And if you haven't, go back and make the choice now and then share why you made the choice to do it anyway now. It doesn't matter when you made it, as long as you make it, right? So share why you chose to do it anyway and the experience you had afterwards when you realized the action you took was an action that could help someone out there that is needing to hear your voice in order to continue on this journey to find a solution that can solve not only their thinking problem, but ultimately any problem that they're facing, that you were someone that put their need for hearing your voice ahead of your need for self-preservation to share the experience. What did you experience afterwards? Did you experience a sense of peace or harmony or vitality with the world out there that you're being of service to? So I encourage you to take that action, to leave a comment right now on this blog, on this comment section, or to leave a comment on my Facebook page. And also I encourage you, if you haven't already, to like my Facebook page. So every time I put content out there on my Facebook page, you can get a notification and you can add to helping people on that platform as well too. So with that being said, you have your action step. I leave you with it. I look forward to continuing this journey with you, and until the next time we get a chance to speak, make it a great day for yourself so you can make it a great day for someone else out there that might need your help. Thanks so much, my friend, and talk to you soon.